Good morning. Guess where we're going again? Oops, look. And that wasn't deliberate, it's just I'm so desperate to get there. Right, it's Saturday. Time is 12:05. I was waiting for the promised sun, and the promised sun has not turned up to say hello. It's a bit cloudy, but it's dry, so allotment we go. I am very flexible today in that I have no plans. As you can see, the car is filled with cardboard. Loads and loads of cardboard boxes. It's going to take a bit longer because these are narrow lanes and there appears to be quite a few cars coming through. Okay. Yeah, so I'll decide what I'm going to do when I get there. I've just done 2 rides on the bike in the morning. I started with a race, and then after the race I did a group ride, as you do. Silly of me. I didn't realize the group ride was that long, which is where the problem came from. So now I've brought some tea, and the plan is to sit and think about what I really want to do with my allotment, and I'll talk about it with you as I do it, because there's going to be a slight change in plans. So let's see what we do today. Yeah? Right. I didn't reverse. There are a few cars here. Come on, let's go. Currently, I have to borrow a wheelbarrow because someone stole my wheelbarrow. Next year I will get my own, but for now this is perfectly convenient. The fact that it's right by the gate makes it even nicer for me, because it means I don't have to walk all the way down, and I'm tired. I've done my exercise for the day, so no need for me to worry. Need to put these boxes away. Let me sit and face you. Probably wondering what it is I'm going to eat. Hot croissant. 12:40. First meal of the day. Not the best way to start. Theoretically, I should have started with protein, especially after the riding I've done, but It's good to be here. Even the sun is celebrating my presence. I mean, this is what, November? Autumn, as they call it. But for me, I feel like we should just have spring, summer and winter, because autumn is miserable as well. It's no better than winter in some ways. Good morning. There's one other person here. So when I came, I went and said hello and we chatted for a while. Oh, wasp, wasp, wasp. I don't like them. It's gone. I hope it gets lost inside that and can't come out again. The reason I came down is 1, to relax, and 2, to try and work out what I'm going to be doing. As I said, I've changed my mind about what I'm going to do. I'm not going to build beds as such. I'm going to do a proper no dig, which requires no need for sides other than in the beginning. And so to achieve that, I'm going to use cardboard on the paths. I'm going to cover all the beds with this weed membrane and leave them to sit over winter. They will slowly and surely help the weeds to die off, and then when it comes to summer, well, spring, January, that's when we start to grow bits and pieces ready to put in the ground. By about, last year I started sowing around March. This year I'm going to take it to the beginning of March, end of Feb. Why? Because I want to have tomatoes that start to fruit earlier. I want courgettes, but I'll keep a lot of the courgettes at home initially until the bees come out, because as those of you who saw my videos before, which I haven't put on YouTube yet, know I was the fertilizer of all my courgettes. Hey, I had an IVF clinic going for courgettes, and it was a very successful IVF clinic. We had more than 90% success. In fact, I could easily say 99.9% success with my IVF for my courgettes. And it was a pleasure to see such success. So we started having courgettes a lot earlier in the year than a lot of other people. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to achieve the same and even better. I am still considering whether or not to do a winter tomato. Last year the tomatoes I grew were Tiny Tim. Never again. Never, never, never. That's another plant that's like a triffid. They just grew and grew and grew and didn't know when to stop. Granted, I couldn't chop bits of them off, so it's partly my fault. You know, and I couldn't kill them, because once a plant starts growing, it is very hard for me to say thank you and goodbye. So I'm still thinking it would be lovely to have a cherry tomato plant, maximum 1 or 2 branches, which are continuously pruned to ensure that that is all that will fruit. And then from January, that's when, I think January, Feb, that's when the other tomatoes started fruiting. We'll have early cherry tomatoes, and I'm thinking of Sun Gold. So the reason I'm here today is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start planning what I am actually going to be growing next year. But before I can even do that, I need to categorize and find out exactly when I can sow everything. What's the earliest time I can be starting to put seeds into a bit of compost in my indoor garden, in order that they're ready to plant out at the right time. So Step one of that is going to require that I identify what I like eating, because when you look around, there's plenty of food, but Stella is not eating it. She's eating junk. And then I look at other people's food and I want it. I've got beetroot. I haven't harvested any. Turnips, I harvested one. Pak choy, I've harvested none. Mustard greens, I did a few, but I haven't touched these. I really need to improve, yeah? French beans, I saw them grow successfully in the winter, and then I'm watching them die. Field beans, I did well. I just need to cut those down because they're there for fertilization of the area they're in, so I'm not really worried about them. Lettuce, you can forget that. I tried one leaf, it wasn't nice, so it's thriving beautifully, but Stella is not going to eat it. So my sister is picking it up for the guinea pigs. Courgettes, I love courgettes, but I was giving them away. What you need to understand is I don't like cooking. I can cook, but I don't like to do it. It's too much hassle. Especially after a hard long day at work. And because I've been doing so much studying for the last few years, I am tired. I'm so tired. It's such a relief that now I've put a stop to it and said no. I'm done. I've withdrawn from the course. So now, guess what I get to focus on? It's funny, I wrote a message to my sisters and I was like, okay, I'm done with studying. I'm not studying anymore. You know, I'm free. I've told the uni that I am done. I'm going to withdraw from the course. I'll come away with my first year of study, but I can't do it anymore. And I can't promise that I would be able to study again like this because it's too much. I'm too old. I mean, I've got what, 10 years until I retire? Why am I killing myself? I've learned enough. Let me improve on what I've got. Let me get better. Let me get brilliant. Let me get amazing. I mean, I'm already amazing at it, but hey, you can always get better. It's never 100% until you're dead. So, oh, for me at least, there's always room for improvement. So, although I say I'm not going to study, the truth of the matter is my focus of my self-education and improvement is going to be looking at what I already do and how I can make it better. It gives me something to do, eh? Yeah? It gives me something to do, so my brain likes to have something to do. My brain likes to be challenged. My brain likes to hurt, so I need this. But I'm going to start by having a break. God, this is perfect. You know? If you're on drugs for SAD, you know, and those of you who don't know because you do not live in the UK, SAD is seasonal affective disorder. A lot of us who live in the UK and in other places where there's very little light end up struggling with bouts of sadness, depression, inability to be happier in their life. And do you know when it happens? When the levels of light go down, which is in autumn and winter. And I'm one of those people. But when the sun is out like this, you see, it's a perfect drug. So if you're stuck indoors in front of the TV or busy scrolling on your phone looking at what other people are doing, step outside and do it outside. You don't even have to notice that the sun is on your face. It will improve your mood. This is like an injection of medication for me, so I'm going to stay here as long as the sun is happy to keep me company, which it seems to be. Child of the sun. See, there's even a ring of clear blue sky around the sun just for me. So the sun knew that I needed this, and because we're British, as they say, a cup of tea makes the world's problems go away. I don't have any problems now. It took me a long while to learn how to relax. That's another thing. It's funny, when I finally decided I wasn't doing anymore, I still struggled with moving all the textbooks from next to my pillow, where they've been sitting every single day, so that I can actually have a look at them and read them. And even after I decided not to do any more, I was still a little bit struggling with not picking up a textbook. So I think I've been living and breathing study for so long, I don't know how to be anything else, and this is my opportunity to learn how to be something else. I hope I'm not boring you all with this little ramble, but I came here to reflect and to think, and that's what I'm doing. And one of my lovely colleagues and a few other people have suggested that I should show my face on here. And guess what Stella does? Stella shows her face with her hair. Total complete mess. And it total complete mess. But hey, this is me. I've never been into what someone looks like on the outside. It's what you like on the inside. If you've seen Avatar, you're seeing me. You would understand that. You're seeing me. You're not seeing anyone who's fake. This is me. This is what I do. I have, periods when I'm a little bit doolally. But we're here to live. We're here to be happy. We're here to have a good time. And we need to ensure that we work hard to do that. So in everything you do, make sure that you're working hard. Make sure that you're actually taking time to enjoy and absorb the pleasure of everything you do. People who know me will tell you, at work, I smile, I sing, I dance, I am happy. Yes, there are times when it's difficult to be happy, but the happy times make up for the sad times. And I love what I do. I just love it. I get to look into the insides of people. I mean, how cool is that? Some bits that you see are not necessarily cool, but ultimately I get to look inside people. I've got x-ray high eyes in my hand. Yeah. Anyway, enough natter. The other allotment here who's here probably thinks I'm a bit crazy, but it's never stopped me. So I love this. This is so nice. So let me sit down and start to look at what I'm going to do with the allotment in terms of growing. So we're going to identify what I want to grow next year, and then we'll work out when everything can grow. And then the other thing I'll need to do is I'll need to sort out my seed box. I've got a lovely seed box with loads of seeds, and Stella has just accidentally, deliberately, possibly not intentionally, it was accidental, even if I'm the one who pressed the button that said add to basket. And yes, I'm the one who pulled money from my pocket money to add to the card so I could make the payment, but it wasn't me. Yeah, I bought a few seeds. Stella's bought a few seeds. I should stop watching YouTube videos and seeing what everyone else is growing. I saw someone growing something called Crimson Crush. They're tomatoes, and those tomatoes are apparently blight proof. So in case we have a very, very rainy summer next year as compared to what we had this year, I need a blight proof tomato, because the year before last, all tomatoes in the UK, very few people had any successful tomato harvest, because what happened is we got blight. We actually got blight all over the country because we had a very, very wet summer. I went camping and it was crap. It was cold. It wasn't fun. So next year I need to make sure that at least 2 of the plants I grow are going to be blight proof. I'm going to make sure that I do 2 seeds per plant, and then if I want more of them, because I have confirmed that I have the space, I will then take the slips from the main tomato plant and plant them up. The advantage of that is they grow quicker, so they grow faster than the tomatoes that you plant from seed, because they're the same age. The slips are the same age as the tomato plant you've got. So if your tomato plant that you've taken the slip from is fruiting, flowering that is, when you plant this new slip, as soon as it gets roots and starts to shoot up, it will also start to produce flowers immediately. It will not wait until say, oh, let me grow. So it's like a clone. It's like, say, if you were to clone me, yeah, if you were to clone me as I am now, you'd end up with another Stella the same age, so we would grow old together. But the other Stella tends to be more vigorous in growth than me. So that's the same with the tomatoes. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you clone your tomatoes rather than growing all of them from seed. So if you want 5 tomatoes of one type, rather than growing each as a seed, maybe grow 2 or 3 in case one doesn't germinate. But if one germinates, choose your best and most vigorous grower, and that's the one you use to create cuttings, to create more tomatoes. Makes your life cheap, eh? The other tomato I want to try is one that actually we buy from M&S. And it's not just a tomato, it's an M&S tomato. They're called Santini tomatoes. Santini tomatoes are lovely, yummy, yummy, yummy. I love them. But I'm worried that if I grow them, they will not taste the same. I wonder how pure Marks & Spencer's Santini tomatoes are. But that would require an experiment of me growing Santini tomatoes. And we've already said that we're not growing too many tomatoes. What else are we going to grow next year? We're going to grow courgettes, and I'm going to introduce you to a whole load of courgettes, different types of courgettes. I'm going to do the normal green courgettes. There's one that is apparently a prolific producer, and Stella likes prolific producers of food, despite the fact that she doesn't always eat it. So we are going to have a prolific producer of courgettes. I do not think I want to do a yellow courgette, so if I do a yellow courgette, I'll put it somewhere out of the way where it will not introduce blight to my other courgettes. I'm going to do little round green courgettes. I'm going to do courgettes that are called patty pans. So those are like little flying saucers. And I am going to share. So if you know me, be nice and you might get some. No, I'm going to share. The garlic is in, so that's for next year. I'll do my onions from seed. I like shallots, so I'm thinking maybe I should just grow shallots, because those are the type of onion I love. I like red onions, but I don't like red onions as much as I like shallots. So I could easily go down to one of those shops down in Croydon on London Road, get those shallots they get from home, bring it, put them in the soil, and they'll grow. Organic, yeah. They haven't been killed off like the ones you buy in sometimes in places like Tesco's and all those places. They put something on them, or they freeze them, I think, or something to stop them growing and germinating. So I could get some of those, go buy all the ones that are actually starting to sprout and put them in the ground, and then wait to see what happens next year. And then we'll have onions. So we got onion, tomato, courgettes. I've got kale already growing. Oh, and it's beautiful. I'm taking some red Russian kale. I got red Russian kale because I liked it last year. So that's growing. We're doing beetroot because beetroot is lovely. Best way to eat beetroot: pull it from the ground, wash it, take off the junky bits, stick it in some water, boil it. When it's cool, when it's finished boiling, about 20-30 minutes, you boil it like a potato. Take the hot water out, put the cold water in, and then peel off the skin, slice and eat. I can be a boring cook because I like everything boiled. I like the flavor of food, especially when it's homegrown. So I don't see any reason for all these, add this, add that. Nah, not necessary. It's delicious as is. There's something about freshly grown, homegrown food that is absolutely delicious. So that's my recommendation for that. And what else are we going to grow? Oh, turnips. I want to do some parsnips, just so I can have some fights with harvesting parsnips, because I've seen quite a lot of people fighting with harvesting their parsnips, because parsnips are a root like a carrot, and they grow down into the ground. And although I'm going to go no dig, my expectation is they'll go deep into an area where the soil is not as loose, so when it comes to harvesting them, we will have a fight. And still I will get a little bit of weightlifting, you know, a bit of work on my biceps will do well, although I don't need them for riding. So that would be really good. Funny, the sky is blue, but the sun is being hidden by this cloud, so this cloud needs to move. Move out of the way. It's moving quite fast, so I'm sure I think planets, are planets female? I think they're female. Miss Sun will be out soon. Raspberries. Got raspberries just in the background, just there. There. Oh, there. Yeah. So that's part of my raspberry troop. So those are going to have to be sorted out, organized, like soldiers. And what else? I've got what's it called? Rhubarb crown, but it's actually a pink champagne rhubarb crown, and I've never tried a pink champagne rhubarb crown. So what I'm planning to do is, before I decide that I don't want it at all, I'm going to move it from where it is, because I do not want it there. I'm going to move it further down this way, away from this bed, because this is also going to become a bed, unfortunately. Stella's decided she needs all the space she can have to grow, so this is going to be a bed. So I'll move the crown now that it's dormant for winter, and I'll leave it, let it grow, and then try it next year and see if I like it. If I don't like it, then my neighbor wants it, so we can do that. I'm going to grow spring greens for the leaves, not for cabbage. It takes too long to get cabbage. I want to grow kaleets because I want to taste them and see if they're any better than actual kale. Kaleets are a cross between kale and Brussels sprouts, so I want to see what they taste like. I'm tempted to do Brussels sprouts, but I would rather do purple sprouting broccoli. Yes, that I will eat. Purple sprouting broccoli. Not sure what else. Oh yeah, normal broccoli. And for those of you who don't know, when you grow broccoli and take off the middle head, it then starts to sprout little broccolis, like the purple sprout, like the broccoli that actually sprouts, the little ones. So you get an extended harvest from when you first get your calabrese. It's called calabrese as well. Yeah, so there's that as well. So I can do that one. What else? God, I want to try sweet potato. I like sweet potatoes, so I want to try growing sweet potato. And I wasn't going to do the orange sweet potato because I was like, oh no, if I'm growing sweet potato, I need to grow the proper, you know, African white sweet potato that we get back home. But now I'm thinking, does it have to be white sweet potato? Could I do a mix of the two in the same space? And that's the space I'm sitting on now. So this space is going to require a lot of compost, because we are going to grow some sweet potato next year. We are going to grow sweet potatoes, so wish us luck, and we'll be growing it together, and so we shall see. Potatoes will stay at home in the bags I've got. I will grow some sweet potato in bags as well, in fabric pots with self-watering systems, to see whether or not they'll grow any better. I need to investigate how to feed the soil for potatoes, especially sweet potatoes, prior to sowing in order to ensure an excellent harvest, because we want to be so happy when we get into that soil and find massive big sweet potatoes. My grandma used to grow sweet potatoes that way, huge. So the target was set, and I need to beat that target. Nah, I don't have to beat the target. I just need to achieve as much as I can, because the only person that you have to compete against is you. And if every time you do something, you do a bit better than the last year, then that's all well and good. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. You guys are probably fed up. Let me sit here quietly and contemplate and decide what I am going to do with my planting. And when I'm done, I'll go back home. But for now, time to enjoy the weather quietly, other than the cars. I didn't even notice them when I was talking. See, my voice is so loud it cuts out all other noises. All right, 1 o'clock. See ya.